This is Channel Attitude. Your voice, your right, your freedom.
That is right. It lets you know that awesome beginning. Lets you know it's time for Smokeout with Shelly and SJ, of course, the interactive video show where you can be a part of the show. Each week when we record the show, I'll send you a link to the StreamYard session. You can join us. You can be in the private chat. You can be on audio. You can be on video. You can chill with us, ask questions, participate, whatever it is you want to do, up to certain limits. We haven't reached those limits yet. We'll find out together exactly what those limits are. And with the show, Smokeout, less than $1 a week. Check it out on channelattitude.com, exclusively on channelattitude.com. I am Stoner Jesus. She is Shelly Martinez. We do various things. You can go check us out, ShellySJSmokeout.com. Links to our websites, our Twitter, the Instagram for the show, all that stuff. Go check it out. Scrolling along the bottom if you want to do so. Shelly, have you taken care of your animal problem there?
I guess not. Hold on a second. Classic way to open the show. Hold on.
It's a train wreck right from the beginning, but that's fine. We do have a guest tonight, an awesome guest, Kevin Goatee. He is waiting in the wings, the virtual green room, if you will. Get it, green room? Of course you do. You're smart people. You know what's up. This is the Smokeout. I broke out the special Trailer Park Boys bong for the special occasion tonight. It's like formal wear, if you will. And the
Let's see that again. Let's see it up close. That's nice.
It's
nice
silicone, so I could throw it off of a building and it'd be fine.
I used to have a silicone bong for a long time, and I loved it because of that fact of you never have to worry about it breaking. Like the worst thing, I don't know, have you ever had this happen? Even if you're like not mad or anything, you just kind of put it down hard and it goes boop, and then all of a sudden the water goes whoop, and there goes your bong.
Especially, I've broken so many bowls just by not even being like angry, just setting them down, but they're so hot. The glass breaks when it's hot. I mean, it's just physics or whatever that is. I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
You're not? I thought you were.
I'd be making more money doing something else, probably screwing people over in some fashion. I don't know. That's what scientists do these days. In any case, before we have Kevin on, I do want to mention, because it's been an ongoing saga for the last few weeks on the show, the water pipe winner, he just doesn't care. He's not gone back to me. He's not listened to the shows and said, hey, I won that. I should do something about it and write them back. No, he does not give a shit. So his loss is Shelly's gain. Nextbardo.com, the awesome people who put up the water pipe, they're going to send the pipe to Shelly, and Shelly's going to make content with it. And like I said, it's this guy's loss. I don't know what we're trying to give away free shit. I don't know what to do. We're trying to give you stuff, send it to you. I can't be any more forceful in trying to force this free stuff onto you. So I'm going to quit trying. Here it is.
You know what? Sometimes that's the best thing to do is just call it a day and move on. We tried it. I don't know.
Nobody wants time to talk to Shelly. No one wants 10 minutes to talk to Shelly. No one wants a water pipe.
Nobody. And that's fine, I guess. And not that people who win things are obligated, but I was kind of bummed out that the winner of the first really cool bong that we gave away, the guy never like he didn't have to be in the picture. It would have been kind of cool if he was like, yeah, I was the winner or whatever. And here's the thing about the person that won the chat with me and the merchandise. There was a guy on Twitter and he said that he was the winner, and he's somebody that interacts with me on a kind of regular basis, I guess you'd say. And I didn't know if he was being sarcastic, like, oh yeah, that's me, the winner, like just being like trying to be funny, or if he really was. And if he really was that winner, he continually interacts with me on Twitter. So it's like, I think the next time he tweets me, I'm gonna be like, did you really win? Because if not, why have you not, like, why do you tweet me but you like forfeited your winnings? If he didn't want it, we could have picked somebody else that would have wanted it, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe
but you know what?
It was enough.
I'm washed up. I'm a has-been, so it makes sense.
Yes. We're recording in real time the ends of our careers.
Absolutely.
On the show.
Absolutely.
It is what it is. I'm glad you all could be here for it. For the crash and the burn.
Thank you.
of our career.
Enjoy.
See, we have other people on so we can destroy their careers as well, which we're going to do tonight with one Kevin Goatee. He is a podcaster, a comedian, all that good shit. Gutting the Sacred Cow. We've both been on his show, the podcast. We'll talk about that, of course, including Shelley's very memorable first appearance on the show. No matter what I do, I'm upstaged by Shelley, even on the Gutting the Sacred Cow podcast, because I can never hope to match what Shelley brings to the table when it comes to something like that. We'll talk about all that right now. I bring Kevin Goatee onto the show. Kevin, what's up, man? Oh, hold on.
Well, I got it. I'm here. Hey, kids, how are you?
We're great. Except nobody loves us. Nobody wants to be with us or hang out with us, but you do. So that's something.
Yeah. You're my friends. You guys are awesome. Like you said, you've both been on the show a few times, and you're both fantastic and fun people. So yeah, let's hang out. Let's rage. Shelley taking pictures already. Look at her. She is quick on the draw of those photos.
I'm just trying, man.
Shelley, see, that's what we bring to the table. Constantly doing things, constantly making content, and we languish, as I said, at the ends of our careers, and maybe yours as well, Kevin. Now that you'll never live this down.
I dare say we're both at the beginning of our careers. It's our second coming, if you will. So I'm a little bit more optimistic than the two of you, but that's fine. We all make it together because we're all good people.
I'm very gray. I'm not the beginning of anything, really.
That's real cute too. Real cute. I like that positive attitude. Real cute.
Oh, thank you.
So Kevin, before we get into the show and all that, of course, the most important thing is, what do you think about Shelley? What was your first impression of Shelley Martinez, who we all love?
Oh my God, where do I start? It's every time I see Shelley, it's a smile on my face. She's got a great personality, fun gal. And you kind of alluded to it before. What an outstanding sport when she erroneously watched the wrong film for our podcast. You couldn't have asked for a better sport to play it off. It was hilarious, and everyone loved her for it. The fans adored the shit out of her. So I was very quick to bring her back because of her great, fun-loving vibes and great spirit and whatnot. So it's she's a gem and a special place in my heart. Will be there always for you, my dear.
Yay.
There you go. What were you thinking? Like first of all, for people who don't know, Gutting the Sacred Cow, we talked about on the show before when we talked about Shelley's wonderful appearance.
Right.
Podcast, basically, you have talk about movies that are either culturally significant or, box office draws or, cult classics or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Great movies that people love. You have someone on to destroy those movies. I thoroughly destroyed Taxi Driver and The Wizard of Oz when I came on the show. Shelley came on the show, and the first movie she was supposed to do was Dumb and Dumber. And what were you thinking as the show progressed? And it was clear that she was not talking about the movie that she was supposed to have watched.
This is like the best accident that happened, I think, for her. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know about her life. That may be too bold of a statement. What was I thinking? I was thinking, is she fucking with me? Is she fucking with us? Because she's talking about the film, and she said something about, oh yeah, Jim Carrey's daughter in the first few minutes of Dumb and Dumber. I go, there's no daughter in Dumb and Dumber at all. The first few minutes are him in the limo while the credits are still going, saying, nice accent. Where are you from? Oh, New Jersey. Okay. So it was clear that she watched the wrong one. And then when we called her on it, she just said, well, wait a minute. I was watching it while I was on the elliptical or exercising or whatever it was. And she said she was medicating, I believe, as well. And she rolled with it. There was nothing else to do but just say, hey, I fucked up. And we had a good time busting her balls about it. And again, she couldn't have been a better sport and fun with it. And all the other segments we do is in addition to and by the way, the guests pick the film. We don't pick the film. You, Stoner Jesus, you, Shelley Martinez, you both selected the films that you don't like that meet those criteria of either widely beloved, critically acclaimed, or a financial success. You guys pick those films, and we don't ever tell the guests what to do. So it was a fun little romp, as we like to say around these parts. And she was fantastic. And again, the fans ate that the fuck up. They loved her. They loved her being vulnerable. And again, she's just so effervescent and, you know, and a little easy on the eyes too. Let's throw it out there as well.
Yes, I hear that all the time. All the comments are how hot Shelly is. None of them about how hot I am. But that's fine. I'm not.
Well,
that-
you're hot too. If someone set fire to you, Stoner Jesus, that's
Right. My boobs up, they won't stay up.
yeah. That's
What am
I love Shelly's outfits. It's almost like, why bother wearing a top, Shelly? They're just blowing out. You might as well just say, fuck the middleman and just let him hang out and rock out. That's
Here's the thing. I cannot help that my body fills out certain outfits the way they do. It's been a problem since high school because before I got my
problem.
it is. Before I got my boob job, I did have natural big boobs. And I remember in high school, we had like you couldn't dress a certain way. Like if you showed too much, you get in trouble. And I would be wearing the same tops as certain girls who weren't as bosomy. And I would be sent to the office and they wouldn't. And I would protest. I'd say, if I have to wear a PE shirt, so do they. They have the same shirt on as I do. So I can't help that I fill out outfits the way
So
I do.
you got a boob job, and you said they were big as a kid. Like, what were you pre-boob job? What are you post-boob job? If you're comfortable talking about that. If not, next question.
I was a natural D and now I'm a double D. But the reason why I got it done was because they were like National Geographic, hanging low, just
like
saggy
sad
boobs.
cucumbers.
Yeah, and being a young girl, and it's like, it sucked. And so when I've had a lot of serious boyfriends, so you would think I'd be okay with it after a while, but I never wanted like the light on, or I wanted a bra or some sort of top on always, because they were just so saggy. And then to make it worse, I dated a couple douchebags and they would like talk crap to me, be like, okay, shit for tits and this and that. Like they would talk ugly to me like that. So it added to it. And so when I went in to get my consultation for my boob job, I was going to just get a lift. And they said that it was going to go from a D to a C. So I was like, let's just go double D then. So
As a spirit.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, the major themes of this show is the discrimination against people with big boobs.
Oh, no such thing over here, folks. No such thing over here. I am pro big boobs. That's the old go-to for Kevin Goatee, folks. That's just a little tip right there. So let's not get it twisted, as the kids say.
That's right. What were you thinking, Shelly, during the show? Like right around the moment that you realized you had watched the entirely wrong movie. You had indeed watched Dumb and Dumber 2. You thought you just loved the movie, and that was going to be the whole story.
This is her Zapruder film, reliving the death over and over and over. It's hilarious.
Becky trying to grab the brain off the back of the car.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like you had mentioned, I thought my whole shtick of the whole episode was going to be like, I actually ended up liking the film because I did mention that I had never really seen it from beginning to end. So the fact that I did, I was like, oh, well, that's the twist that I ended up liking the film. So when it when it wasn't the right one in my head, I'm like, typical Shelly, man. Like, of course this happens to me. Like, of course. But, I'm the type of person that if something's funny, it's funny. It's freaking funny that I messed up. So I just rolled with it. Like, I just went with it. And I think that, like, I love comedy, and when comedy just naturally happens, especially because it's a mistake, that's like comedy at its best. So I was all about it. So I roll my eyes and make faces when I talk about that day, only because, not because I think it was a bad situation, but it's just like, of course, me out of all effing people, like, of course I watched the wrong effing movie. And I still haven't watched Dumb and Dumber from front to beginning.
Oh, you didn't even want to go back and visit it after you fucked up and watched it. You didn't want to go check it out and say, all right, let me see what we got going on here.
One day I might. Like, it was, maybe one day I'll do it. I don't know.
It's the movie you love so much.
Well, it makes sense too, because like my favorite Back to the Future is Back to the Future 2.
I love Back to the Future 2. I am with you. I can argue one is a better film. I love 2 as much as I love 1. But if I had to give my personal favorite, I like 2 better than 1 by the slightest. They're both fantastic.
Well, what I like about 2 is you revisit 1, but then you get the like feelings, like everything that like if that was a true story, you find out like and then the what ifs. Like as humans, we always think, what if this? What if that? And I've always been very intrigued by like, I guess you'd say, what is it called? The butterfly effect of like the different alternates of what could happen. So I like that. Terminator 2 is my favorite Terminator as well, even though
Oh,
Terminator 1
without
is
a
really
doubt. Without
good.
a doubt. Love 2.
It's
T2 is
really
better than
good.
1. Yeah.
But it's like, so it makes sense, Dumb and Dumber 2, you know?
So the show itself, Kevin, is an interesting idea for a show and unique. Where did
Thank
the
you.
idea itself come from?
It came from because I'm a movie snob, and every other jerk off comic has a podcast, and every other jerk off comic has a movie podcast, and every other jerk off movie podcast is all the same. It's 3 dudes sitting around a table drinking beer, going, I think Star Wars is the best. Oh, okay, well I think Empire is better. Oh, fuck you both. I think Jedi is better than both of them. And it's all a matter of who gives a shit. First of all, no one knows who you are. Probably you're not funny. And I said I want to have something, but there are podcasts out there where people do attack shitty films. That's been done. But I want to say, you know what? I want to have the people who have the balls to have an opinion that goes against the status quo on to see if A, they can sway us in any way, shape, or form, or B, some of these films, they don't belong on these beloved, acclaimed, or successful lists. Shelley, would you believe someone came on here and tried to take down Back to the Future?
When I saw the list of the ones you guys have already done, I couldn't believe some of the ones that were on there. Like some of them, like I did love, but I could see how some people didn't like them. But some of them, I was like, whoa, wait a second here. So
Yeah.
I just love the whole vibe and the whole purpose of your podcast because of that. Because you get to hear the reason why. It's not just like if you go on like social media, people be like, I effing hate Back to the Future, whatever. And it's like, well, why? And so on your show, you get to hear why people. And then like one of my favorite films forever was Wizard of Oz. So when I saw Stoner Jesus episode, I was like, no, come on. But he made some really good points. And now whenever I watch it, I laugh because I hear his comments in my head. And I'm like, he's totally right, man. He is even though I still love the film, I do look at it differently now. And I do just through a different lens take in the story because of what he said.
Perfect. And that's the goal. And that really is the goal, is just to encourage different lines of thinking. Sometimes, again, like you'd said, people come on, they make a few good points. And by the way, Stoner Jesus, you did not convince us that Taxi Driver sucked. Let's be on the record and say
Taxi
that.
Driver fucking sucks.
Nope.
Bitch.
No. This is great. Your argument did not gut the sacred cow. Wizard of Oz did, but not this one. But again, sometimes we're like, all right, I see your points. We'll knock it down a point. Sometimes we're like, you know what? This movie never was good. I fucking hate it from jump. Sometimes we're saying, you know what? Man, I love this as a kid, or I loved it when I saw it when I was younger. And oh boy, it's not holding up. Or fuck you. This film is brilliant and you're an asshole. And those are the 4 major outcomes we have. Actually, 5 with Shelley watching the wrong film. So those are the 5 outcomes that we have on our show. So yeah, but it's always fun that when someone tries to belly up and go, like Don Jameson, I love him. Don's got balls. Don's first selection he chose, Die Hard. Second selection, The Matrix. Just happened to be 2 of my favorite, not top, but The Matrix is my top 10. Die Hard's, everyone loves Die Hard. Die Hard's fucking great. He also did Leaving Las Vegas, and he's sitting in as next week as co-host when Mike Price comes back to take down The Sandlot. So, but these guys, like, yeah, these films suck. Fuck you guys. You're all wrong. And sometimes we tell them, you know what? You're right. Sometimes you say, I'm not going to die in the hill. I see your points. Or, nah, you're an asshole. You're just wrong.
I forget, Shelley, what was your second film? Your second episode?
Tommy Boy.
Waste of my time. A waste of my time, Tommy Boy. Time in my life that I will never, ever get back.
The best part was there wasn't a Tommy Boy 2 that she could accidentally watch instead.
Right. Surprised you didn't watch sheep.
I was just gonna say Black Sheep might have been the other one. She might have been like, well, you know, that's fun. Yeah, but
And I was so
it's
open
fun.
to it too. I was so open to the Tommy Boy. I was like, you know what? Because I know quite a few people who like they always say one-liners from it. So I was like, okay, maybe it'll be good. Maybe I'm just being a bitch. Okay. And I didn't laugh one time. Not one time.
It doesn't hold up. I saw it as a kid in high school in the theater. It's fine. I chuckled a few times now. It is not a classic. It is overrated. That is for sure. It's very overrated. I don't hate it, but I sure as hell am not watching it again ever in my life.
You know, over the weekend, my sister Danielle, she had never seen Pretty in Pink. And
Terrible film.
I didn't realize that because I love the TV show Young Sheldon. I didn't realize that his Meemaw was in Pretty in Pink, that she's that actress. So I told Danielle, I was like, oh my gosh, you know who Meemaw is? And I was like, let's watch it. And I have seen this movie so many times, but it's been years since I've revisited it. Molly effing Ringwald gets on my effing nerves to no effing end. Like I tweeted about this. I go, she always has her mouth open or bites her lip. If you take a shot every time she bites her lip, you'll be drunk 10 minutes into the movie. And Andrew McCarthy can kiss my ass. Like I can't stand him with his psycho eyes. And so it reminded me of your podcast about how like one of the points you just brought up, how you can love something growing up and then it just doesn't hold up. And I was just like, oh my God, her dress is so ugly, like so ugly. And ugh.
She has what we call the perpetual Renee Zellweger who farted face, where she's always like, ooh. Yeah, I hate all them. I hate the holy trinity of Molly Ringwald films, and we've all done them on the podcast. Lauren Conlon did 16 Candles. I hate that film. I forgot. Oh, Juliet Miranda did Pretty in Pink. Hate that film. And Jennifer Eckhart did Breakfast Club. Hate that film. Hate John Hughes. I love some of his films. I love Uncle Buck. I love Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I love Home Alone. He wrote Vacation, the first one and the third one. But man, those Molly McCarthy. That's right. Yeah, I was about to say Melissa McCarthy. Those Molly Ringwald, excuse me, films. I hate them all.
Speaking of classic films, when our first incarnation of the show, we did a watch along of a film that Shelley had never seen before, Home Alone, and I think it went over quite well. We couldn't get Macaulay Culkin to come on the show. I guess he was busy doing something else. I don't know what he could possibly be doing. It was more important than that.
He was getting a leg lengthening surgery, I think.
That's right.
Oh.
Well, listen, you can stack him and Kieran Culkin on each other's shoulders, and I don't know if they're gonna be tall enough to reach me, and I'm 6'2".
Oh, is he that short?
Yeah.
Put a trench coat on him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Them and Muggsy Bogues would have a great 3-on-3. Those two and him would be fun.
I don't think
No.
Shelley Muggsy Bogues reference.
I was just gonna say
is.
he was a very short NBA player in the 90s.
Oh,
right.
okay.
He's
I
like
didn't realize
5'4".
McCulkin was that. I mean, I didn't think he was tall by any means, but I didn't realize he was so tiny.
Yeah.
That's right. Since I have you here, Kevin,
Yes,
you're
sir.
somewhat of a movie expert.
Thank you.
I've never talked to Shelley about this either. My favorite movie of all time. It's really, and it's not on a lot of lists for people. And it's really not even the whole movie. It's the first half of the movie.
Full Metal Jacket.
There you go.
I knew it.
That's
That and Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Those are two films that people go, I love that film. I love that film. But those second halves, they fall off a fucking cliff so fast, especially Full Metal Jacket. Once Private Pyle blows his brains out and kills Gunnery Sergeant Hartman, I tap out. I stop watching. It is a slog after that. The two Boku scene, okay, fine, funny. But after that, it is rough sledding.
Have you ever seen Full Metal Jacket, Shelley?
I haven't.
Oh my God. The drill sergeant scene in the opening is, in my opinion, the greatest scene in movie history.
That's bold.
I will die on that hill. I like
it. I like it. Is it the best? I don't think it's the best. It certainly is enjoyable. He chews up scenery. He's amazing in every scene he's in, but the best in history, boy, I can't co-sign on that. But that's your opinion, man. Go ahead. If you enjoy it, fuck it. I'm glad you do.
I used to know it. I probably still do. If I watch, I can probably mouth the words to it.
I know all the words too, and that's an indictment on movie nerddom I have. So yeah, if that doesn't get the ladies wet, I don't know what will, right?
That's right. Bringing the female demographics.
Yeah.
This isn't enough to bring them in. Add a little bit more, whatever it takes. So, Kevin,
Yes, sir.
we do, as you can tell, I smoke a lot of weed. We talk about a little weed a lot on this
You don't
show.
say.
Yes. Well, in case you can't tell, my
Yeah.
whole gimmick is weed. So, from beginning to end. What has been your experience with cannabis in your lifetime?
Very, 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 very little amount. I haven't smoked since college. It just didn't really do much for me. I was half tempted. I was just in Vegas. I go to Vegas every year, week one of the NFL with my buddies. I was just there 2 weeks from Friday, 2 weeks from tomorrow. I got there, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I have a bunch of friends like go get edibles. It'd be a nice controlled buzz because that's all I want. Like we drink all fucking day. We wake up, breakfast. Sometimes because we're East Coast guys, we get there early. And we wake up early, like, fuck, let's just go to the gym, do something positive before we start poisoning ourselves for 16 straight hours. So, yeah, but other than that, I mean, after breakfast, we'll start playing cards and then, slowly having a few kettle and sodas. And then dinner, it's, whiskey and bourbon, other shit. And then back to the lounges and shit. And it's more vodka. But I was very, very close saying, let's just go down the way to the Med Men right here on the strip and getting some edibles. Because I had a few buddies who were masters in that stuff. And they're like, all right, this is what you do. This is what you ask for. This is what you're going to expect, So I don't want to take something and just sit there and stare at my fucking thumbs for 4 hours and miss a night. I want something that's got a nice slow burn. I feel like a good solid buzz without the alcohol poisoning my insides.
So you were, what?
No, I didn't get there. No, it was all booze. It was all booze. It was all just hitting up the bars and such. No, I've got CBD gummies just for sleeping purposes. But now I haven't taken them in a while because now a doctor gave me a sleeping pill I take now. So whenever I just do, I pop it and I just conk right out. It's this goddamn hypervigilancy, kids. My brain won't shut up when I want to try and go to bed. It just keeps talking and ideas and whatever. Blessing and curse, who knows? Whatever.
Absolutely. So on the comedy front,
yes.
Why get into comedy, and what are you up to in comedy?
Oh my God, how much time do we have? Why get in? Because I'm a masochist. No, because I'm in corporate America. Yeah, it's when I went to school for film and TV. Let's back it up. I went to school for film and TV. I graduated. My dad was like, all right, cool. Now it's time to get a real job. I'm like, oh, no. I want to be in film and TV. They're like, oh, no. You need to get a real job and move out and all that, be an adult shit. So the film thing was kind of pushed to the side. So I was in corporate America for years. And in the year 2010, I was really kicking the idea around and going, man, there's way more to life than just corporate America nonsense. And I thought of like, you know what? People have told me all my life, hey, you're funny. You're fucking, you got a lot of opinions, surprise, but you're funny. One thing about doing stand-up. So I said, all right, fine. Let me do it. So I wrote down everything that I thought was funny and just memorized it for about 3 months. And then I went to the Village Lantern in the West Village in Manhattan, March 10th, 2010, and did my first open mic. And there we go. So it's a way to see what's going on. It's truly a journey into madness. You see so many different types of people. I never knew how mental health really was off the charts until you meet comics. You're like, wow, people are really fucked up, and it's amazing. But I learned a lot of things along the way. I learned that the road, working from city to city, club to club, not for me. I don't want to go driving across the country and stay in some little shitbox 2-star motel where the sheets are so stiff from one night stands that they could you could stand them up in the corner. That's not for me. What I found out was like, hey, I've got a few TV show ideas. I made one of them called Comics Watching Comics. It was on Amazon Video for 8 seasons. And I have other ones, Fantasy Football Jibber Jabber, which is now back and in the metaverse. Comics Watching Comics also will be back in the metaverse very shortly. And the podcasting stuff too. It's just we did a few podcasts to start off. I did one called Safe Word with my friend Monica Vita. It's just comics talking, sex and nonsense, whatever. I didn't realize how much work was involved, and we didn't do the work, so it never really took off. Plus, she moved back to Denver. The second was called Sportsbook Box Office Podcast, where you guessed it, it was about movies and sports. And again, no one gave a shit. We didn't put the work into it. And again, who cares? We're nobodies. Jibber Jabber. I was on Jibber Jabber. Gutting the Sacred Cow. That's the one that took footing because I put the work into it. It came out October before the pandemic, and when the pandemic hit, I mean, don't get me wrong, the pandemic sucked, but I got a lot of shit done for all the behind the scenes, unsexy work that had to be done. So for a podcast that's now coming on, holy shit, it's gonna be 3 years next month. We got all the foundation laid very fast, much faster than most podcasts do that are out 3 years, I guess, if you were to compare to it, because of the time of the pandemic to get all that shit done. And it's my favorite one because it's insanely unique. People go, that's a brilliant idea, like you guys have. You guys and people like you come on, and I meet all these different types of people who are fun and entertaining and unique as all shit. And it's taken hold. So I also learned from comedy. Hey, I've rented a few people said, you know, you should be doing voiceover. So I got into voiceover work. I don't know, about 3 years into comedy. I still do commercials here and there. Not as much as I want to. I'm not as well known. So it's a lot of those guys get there's like a circle of like 10 that get regular, 20 or people get regular work, so on and so forth. But I learned a lot of things. Like I learned that, hey, this is cool comedy, but in the end game, it's not for me. The goal really is with Gutting the Sacred Cow, I would love to be big enough where I could say, hey, Gutting the Sacred Cow, you know, Shelly, you're in LA. Guess what? We're coming to LA and we're coming to this major theater. We're coming to the El Capitan, or we're coming to the Chinese theater. We're going to do a live show. We can either A, watch the movie there and then boom, do an episode immediately after that, or B, just come, hey, we're going to watch this week. We're going to watch Dumb and Dumber 1. And and then everyone's going to come in all hyped up and we're going to talk about it and have the episode right then and there and then do stand up, like we're kind of like have a whole show about it. So that's like the goal, is to have my built-in audience be my stand-up audience too. So stand-up's taking a backseat right now. I'm trying to pitch these shows. I'm trying to get the podcast really humming and so on and so forth. So, but that's what I learned with comedy.
Well, as you mentioned before, this is the end of it all. So I hope you had a good run and got in everything you wanted to get into.
Listen, if I'm going to crash and burn, it is going to be a girl with double D implants on camera, and there's no better way to go out with a blaze of glory like that. And also a guy with a headband with weed on it. I mean, that is the way. If I'm going to be if I'm going to be buried at Arlington Cemetery, that's how I want to go out, with a 21 gun salute of you two.
Indeed. Speaking of Dumb and Dumber, theoretically, is Dumb and Dumber still available to do on Gutting the Sacred Cow?
No. No, once someone does a film, it's out, unless I were to get like a major celebrity and he chose a film that someone has already done and did a shitty job. So I would allow a redo. Don't worry, Shelly, you're saved. You too, Stoner Jesus. You guys are good enough. But if someone came up with like a big enough, like I want to do, someone who already did Star Wars, which they did, and a celebrity goes, I'm going to do Star Wars. I go, fucking have at it, buddy. You know, it's going to take, I'd be very hard pressed to say, no, you can't do it. But yeah, 99.9% of the time, once it's done, it's done. There are a lot of people who ask for the same film without seeing the list. There are a lot of common threads that they want to do. I shoot down a lot of films. People go, oh, I want to do this film. Like example, people say, oh, I want to do The English Patient. I go, no one gives a shit if people take down The English Patient. No one's going to get angry. The idea, yes, it has to meet those criteria. But when the goal is when the new episodes come out on Friday or Saturday, people are going to look at their iPhone or their desktop or their iPad and go, what the fuck? Someone hates The Sandlot? Yup, here we go. Or someone hates Back to the Future or Die Hard or The Matrix or Gone with the Wind or Scream or Breakfast Club. Any of those. What? Get the fuck out of here. So yeah, that's what we go for, is that kind of. One guy just last night, he emailed me. He already agreed to do Casino Royale, the first Daniel Craig Bond film, which is fucking great. Good luck, asshole. Then he emails me, he goes, well, I want to can I change it? I'm like, to what? He goes, Teen Wolf. I go, nope, no one gives a shit if Teen Wolf gets cut to pieces or not. No one cares. I enjoy Teen Wolf, but we all know it's 80s cheese, but no one's going to get pissed about it. People are going to get pissed about Casino Royale because that film is bonkers.
See, that's what I mean is since Shelley didn't actually see Dumb and Dumber, did she actually do an episode on Dumb and Dumber?
That's very meta, and I appreciate it. But what she
Right.
did was what she did was so landmark. I don't think I could not do that. Everyone, and again, so I ask it out there. Hey, who are your favorite guests? And God damn it, it's the 5 people. Shelly is always part of that group, always, because they loved her on that. Because she was so vulnerable and funny about it. Because that's why. So no, Dumb and Dumber will not be recycled again. But I reserve the right to change my mind if like The Rock wants to come on and do it or something like that.
Hey, there you go. It's a good segue to wrestling. We talk a lot about wrestling on this show. Shelley,
Right.
of course, a former pro wrestler.
Of course.
What has your relationship been with wrestling throughout your life, Kevin?
Great question. As a kid in the 80s, I watched a good amount of it and stopped for whatever reason. Then in 97, 98, I was a junior in college, and the Raw Attitude Era grabbed me by the balls in a chokehold. The fucking Raw era was golden. And I watched that for another, I don't know, 4 years or so after that. Right when I think Hogan came back, I was like, no. But that Raw era was the Rock and Ric Flair are the best ever on the mic. There is no one you can tell me otherwise. Not even close. Not even close. The Rock and Ric Flair, 1A and 1B. Most charismatic as fuck. I haven't watched wrestling in so long. The wrestlers these days, it's like an old fart, are boring. They had the Raw 20-year anniversary recently. I go, I DVR'd it. I got to watch this. Love seeing all the old shit. All the new people did not care. Even the most diehard wrestling fans I know now, they're like, yeah, we're just, we've watched it since we were kids and we can't quit now. Well, I sure did, and I have no problem saying that. But yeah, they're saying there's no one as charismatic. Maybe the athletics are there. Shelly, you have a better eye than anybody, of course. But I'm basing this solely on mic skills and captivative personas. None of these motherfuckers are grabbing me by the balls at all. So I've stopped watching wrestling a long time ago.
I did too. When I got fired, it was just hard for me to watch the product because I'd be triggered.
Mhm.
And then moving on for a few years, I would only watch what was in front of me, like the shows I was in. Like when I was in TNA, of course, I'd see what was going on there. Then when I did the independent circa, I really enjoyed it because it was kind of like the vibe of what I became a fan. Because I, like you, I was huge into the Attitude Era. Like that was like, that
Right.
just captured me. Like I just loved it so much. But what's interesting is sometimes I'll be out and about, and maybe like at a restaurant or a bar, and they'll have wrestling on in the background. And it just seems so blah to me. And then it's interesting because a lot of fans, when I talk to them, they kind of say the same thing that you were saying about your friends. They crap on it, but they still watch it. I think it's because they're just in that, like, they want to be loyal, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But even the fans themselves that watch it, put money in these companies' pockets, seem to say the same thing. And then I feel like maybe younger generations, they have their favorites of who's around now, but I'm so unfamiliar with the products that like I don't even know. I'm like, okay, like cool, whatever.
Yeah, my nephews, they're like, "Oh yeah, John Cena." I go, "Fuck John Cena." I don't get that at all. And I go, their dad is a huge. He still watches it. I go, Brian, are you not showing them like the 80s and 90s shit? He's like, that's next on my list. Next time I saw them, they're like, The Rock was so awesome. Stone Cold Steve Austin. I go, see, Ric Flair, woo, shit. Actually, look at this right here. See my shirt. How timely, Wu Tang with the Ric Flair going woo. Yeah, no, it's I don't care. I don't. So have you watched it now since Triple H took over creative, or you're still just like, I'm done?
I just don't care now. Like I'm not
Right.
triggered by seeing it anymore, but it's just like so long has gone by and there's so many newer people I'm unfamiliar with that I don't care to invest in learning about these characters or spending my time. I rather watch reruns of The Office and Seinfeld.
Hey, I've never watched one episode of The Office. How about that?
Oh, I've
Wow.
seen it a million times and I
But
still,
here's
even the ones that get on my nerves.
but it's so funny you say that because right now you're gonna laugh. I don't give a shit. Oh, it fell down. I still get Netflix DVDs because their library is much better than the
Wow.
streaming. It ain't even close. It ain't even close. All the old shit on there, you can't get and you get the new shit. Like if it comes like on DVD, I could just bump it up right now. Boom. Sitting next to me, I guess it fell on the ground. I have The Office season 1, disc 1 right here. So I was like, all right. Everyone says you got to watch it. All right. As
Wow.
soon as I'm done watching the new season of Cobra Kai, I will watch The Office.
I had no idea they still send DVDs.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they do. They do because people up in like fucking Alaska, they don't have Wi-Fi, so it's like all right.
Mhm.
But again, I am like a 75-year-old. Like, did the DVDs come in the mail yet? Yeah, no, their library is so much better. Again, you can't get all this shit on the streaming. Like you type in like all right, I'm gonna watch 5 movies. 2 of them may be on when you search for it. DVDs, nope, never a problem.
Nice.
Right.
So the see, I forgot what I was going to say. This happened last week.
Wrestling, because you're smoking too much goddamn weed, SJ.
Well,
Don't blame it on the cannabis.
for 20 years. My memory was perfect with weed, and now since all this went to shit, I look at videos from 3 or 4 years ago on my show. All this was brown and nice, and now it's all fucking Santa Claus white. All this down here, it's all gone downhill. And I like to blame it on Shelly, but I can't because it started before Shelly. So I have to blame it on other things. Age, not taking care of myself, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. I do want to mention shout out to Vince Russo, who's the owner of Channel Attitude, the founder of Channel Attitude. He was the head writer for the Attitude Era for a couple of years back in the late 90s, which I was same as you in the 80s with Hulk Hogan and all that shit. I loved that because I was a kid. And I kind of got away from it because it just basically sucked. I was
true.
It's like all fucking cartoon characters and shit. But then when, WCW, the rise of WCW and the Monday Night Wars and all that shit, I had one TV stacked on another and I had VCRs going. I would record one and, watch it later and just watch wrestling all night. And that even the ratings show, I mean, back then, 8-10 million people an episode. Now you're looking at 1.5 million, 2 million maybe if on good nights. And it's just never going to be what it was. And that kind of sucks. But it is what it is. We have been talking about the CM Punk thing because Shelly did come up with CM Punk. She does have an inexplicable hatred of the Young Bucks, who were also involved in the CM Punk story. And so that's a saga that's got a lot of people looking back at wrestling. But yeah, the product itself is just not. It's never going to be
No.
what it once was, and that's a shame.
Do you know the one thing that always brings a smile on a lady's face is if you walk in a room and you play the Stone Cold Steve Austin theme song while ripping your clothes off and then jumping into bed with her, that always puts a smile on a face because business is about to pick up, King. Ha! See,
Shelly, if Metal
Slip that
G,
one in
like you heard the broken glass
there.
and he rushed into the bedroom, what would you be like? Yeah, hell yeah.
You know what? What would happen is I would get into character and I would start. See, I'd be the opposite. I'd be imitating him, so that wouldn't be sexy at all.
Would you have a bald cap?
and then when you're done, you take 2 beers, smash them together, and then pour them in your face as like a explosion.
Exactly.
Cute,
But the
right?
thing is, I love Stone Cold back in the day. Like there's a match that he had with Booker T in a supermarket. You guys remember that?
Oh yeah.
That was like so hilarious. And I love Stone Cold so much. And I loved when he had like a rivalry with The Rock because they're both so freaking good.
My favorite time.
That it's so, like you guys had mentioned, it sucks that it will never be. And like even if fans nowadays go and look back at it, they still aren't going to get the electricity from when it was new, and it's like seeing things you've never seen before. And I feel like in the 80s it kind of had that, but it went to like just a different level. And during the 90s, like it just went somewhere else. And it's just
You can watch it, but you sure can't explain the joy of Stone Cold Steve Austin dressed in a doctor's scrub gear and Vince McMahon in a hospital bed, and then Stone Cold beating the piss out of Vince in the hospital. If you didn't laugh your ass off, or when Rock was up on the Rudy Poo Bridge, it's on the corner of the People's Champ Boulevard and Candy Ass Lane, and then they fight him on the bridge and they throw him off. They throw the belt over the side. If you aren't goofawing with tears streaming down your face, God damn it, you are not alive.
Oh, so good.
Right?
So freaking good. And it kind of sucks because I feel what I've seen happen from being behind the scenes and talent is like in general, wrestling is very ego driven, anyways, like whatever, it's entertainment. But I just feel like the entitlement and the not putting the time and effort and realizing why certain things worked is what wrestlers' problems is. They just wanted to be on TV and as famous as The Rock, but they don't realize how much The Rock had to put into becoming The Rock, or Stone Cold being Stone Cold, or Ric Flair like they had to put the work in to evolve to that. And I feel like I just watched a bunch of wannabes, even some of them that are super famous now, not wanting to put the work in, and they just wanted to be the new Rock or the new Stone Cold or the new Ric Flair. And it's like, bitch, you don't just become that overnight. That's like hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of putting the work in.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So another thing we talked about last week, switching back to movies, because Shelly is a huge Munsters fan of the Munsters show. We watched the trailer for the new Munsters movie. Do you have any thoughts, Kevin, on the upcoming brilliance from Rob Zombie?
Yes, I do. I will be giving zero fucks nor thoughts about the new Munster film. Not on my radar. It was on Channel 11 as a kid. Channel 11 is the New York Superstation where they aired all the old like honeymooners and shit during Saturday at 2 in the afternoon, or during the Yankees rain out. I never grabbed I didn't care. I've seen the Addams Family stuff on the old Family Channel when the movie came out. Didn't care for that either. So don't care. The first two Rob Zombie films are good. The Devil's Rejects and House of the Thousand Corpses. His Halloween remakes not so good. But I could care less about this Munsters reboot. This whole year for film has been pretty shitty, I will say. But this is not on my radar. Shelly, I'm sure you have a very different opinion than I do.
I love the Munsters, but I hate and have no faith in Rob Zombie's interpretation of it. And what I talked about last week was when I first heard about that he was going to do it, I had some sort of hope because I know that he is a diehard fan of the original series. So it's not like somebody just coming in and they're like, oh, okay, you want us to do the Munsters. Okay, we'll do the Munsters. It was somebody who knows the product, knows the characters deep in it. But the trailer says it all. I'm still going to watch it. I'm going to try to be positive about it. But I don't think it's going to work out for me.
Good news, it won't cost you anything. So enjoy.
Just tell yourself we need a review. We need a review for the show. It's very important, and push through, no matter how bad it gets.
Yeah, it's
If I can make it through Tommy Boy, I can make it through any film. So
there you go. So Kevin, what's the future look like for Kevin Goatee?
Like I said, the gutting the sacred cows is shaping up nicely. I'm trying to get I have fantasy football jibber jabber, my NFL fantasy football advice I do with two other famous funny comics, Nick Whitmer and Matt Lejeski, where we give fantasy football advice as well as NFL betting advice. Is in the metaverse. It's in the joke community room. Watching comics will come back. And I'm trying to pitch a movie themed game show. I've got one of our guests is a showrunner, and I'm trying to see if he can make something happen. So I'm really trying to get these shows out here and get a pitch. I think I know I'm a good host. I'd be a fantastic host for a movie themed game show. And the other shows that have already been established, yeah, I hosted those. So why the hell can't I pick that right back up on and carry that puppy across the finish line? So yeah, that's what I want to do is host these shows and so on and so forth.
Oh yeah, just leave the fact that you did this show off your resume, and you should be fine.
I couldn't do that to you too. I just would not put it on my LinkedIn profile. How about we do that instead?
That's right.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Shelly, you have anything else before we let the movie expert himself, Kevin Goatee, go?
Well, just positive vibes to all of your projects and everything like that.
Oh, thank
Uh,
you.
your shows, you're Getting the Sacred Cow. I freaking love it. I got to watch more
Aw.
episodes just because, like I said, I love that you get to hear other people's perspective, because I know some people don't like it and they're so hard-headed, but I'm the type of person, like, I enjoy hearing other people's thoughts and opinions, and especially if they're not something that I vibe with or think, because I don't know, I think that's something, especially in this day and age, that's kind of like a lost thing, is people are just so like, my opinion's right, what I think is right, and that's just it. And that's why you have all
And
these
that's the
videos.
bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. See,
Exactly.
that's how you punctuate a goddamn
Exactly.
point.
That's like how social media is, and it's made it not fun for me, that people are just so not open-minded, and it's like, you don't have to agree, but just like hear somebody out. And I think that's why I enjoy the Gutting the Secret Cow so much, is you can just I get that fix, that like takeaway from it. So I just hope that Gutting the Secret Cow just becomes super successful and people get their heads out of their asses and realize it's okay to have an opinion that doesn't agree with everyone else's opinion or whatever.
Yeah,
And
and we make it
but
funny too. We make it funny. That's the most important thing, is it's funny. It's not just someone railing on it. We have segments in there. We have the 5 fun facts. We have the Amazon 5-star and Amazon 1-star reviews. All that stuff. Their segments are great, but it's funny. I go out of my way to write jokes for every single episode to really make it fun, as opposed to just not just shitting on the art of shitting movies. That's not where we all love films. Their goal is the guest goal is to convince us, not the other way around. Sometimes we
right.
agree, sometimes we don't.
And last but not least, when I was on the first time,
Mm-hmm.
you had on the other Kevin was your co-host.
Yes.
And when you guys were joking about, like, I guess an ongoing joke, how he didn't like feet.
Yes.
That's what helped me realize, that was when I thought that it was a sign from life that I needed to retire my feet modeling days. And that was one of the best decisions I ever made.
You're welcome. Yeah, he has a major aversion to feet. I'm no fan of feet. I don't get that. You show me a great face, you show me a great set of boobs, show me a great ass. I am hook, line, and sinker. Feet, no thank you. Disgusting. Keep them away. But he has a visceral disgust toward feet. So we're glad that, listen, save the goods for the OnlyFans, not the feet. Show them the real stuff, not the little piggies and all that going to the market and shit. Oh, thank you.
I feel like it saved me from the dark path that I was going down.
Although you can make a fuckload of money from what I've heard showing off those feet. So, tomato,
There's
tomato.
the thing is, though, I realized, because up until I did your show,
Mhm.
I was not really making much money off of it. And the reason why is because the feet people are super cheap. They're cheap asses, like so cheap. And I've tweeted about it, and people from the foot community, I guess, they've even said, I hate to admit it, but yeah, it's true. We'll try to get it for free. So they're cheap asses. And I didn't realize until shortly before I was on your guys' show that one of the main ways you make good money off of being a foot model, because here I was putting all kinds of thought into these shoots. I was like, okay, that looks pretty. They don't want it to look pretty. And they want me to like talk down to them and like just be verbally abusive to them. And I wasn't
I
down for that. And so that's when I was like, oh, like I created this whole website, Shelly's Foot Club, and I thought it was going to be something else, especially because I love shoes. So I thought, okay, like it'll give me a chance to buy more shoes and have a reason for it and make it rope, like I said, pretty. But that just was not what it is. They want it to look amateur hour. They want it to be gross and
oh,
talked down to, and I just wasn't. And it kind of like, I hate to admit it, but depressed me because I put so much energy into thinking it was an easy way to make some side money. And so I was really struggling with it. So that's why I'm saying, when I went on your guys' show, that was like when I was like, should I just not do this anymore? Maybe I should just keep focusing on my like lingerie content. And then when it happened, I was like, I'm done. I'm closing the site down. F these guys, these cheap bastards, whatever. And that's when I retired from being a foot model.
Yeah, that's you're just describing a side of I don't know, pleasure that I just don't tap into at all. I'm not a foot guy. I certainly won't be talked down to. That's for goddamn sure. But if you are, that's cool. Not my cup of tea. And feet, I mean, shit. You ever see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood where Margot Robbie goes in the theater and takes her fucking shoes off and she's dirty ass feet? Margot Robbie is a goddamn Vegas 10. But for one fleeting moment, I go, "That's disgusting, Margot." But we all knew why she did, because Quentin Tarantino is a foot perv, and that's fine. He's into that, whatever. But not my cup of tea. That's yeah, okay. Call me old fashioned. Call me a naysayer. Call me an old fuddy duddy. But that's not my avenue, kids. Enjoy if it is yours.
And that's not mine as being a model or content creator either. I don't know. There's a whole King of the Hill episode where Peggy is an intentional foot fetish model. And when I saw that too, I was like, see, dude, that's how it is. And I'm just not down. And I feel it's not in me to be like, especially like we talked about at the beginning. I've had people talk down to me about my physical appearance, like with my boobs and things I couldn't. I mean, I was born that way. What the hell? What do you want from me? And
You
so
were
like,
born with droopy D cups.
droopy D cups. I was born with them. My body grew into them, but and it's just I don't relate. And I guess to each their own, but I just don't relate as being a content creator to sit there and be like, worship my dirty feet, you sick son of a bitch. Like, it's not for me.
Jamming a dirty sock in their mouth. Ugh, I'd throw up. Throw it across. But again, not my style. Go ahead if it is yours. Have fun with that. Yeah.
So you can add reformed foot model to your resume. Maybe fit in your Twitter bio. I don't know.
On your LinkedIn page.
That's right.
I'm good. I still get requests too, and I'm like, no, you guys are cheap. And then it's just, I can't. It's a big headache. It haunts me.
Yeah, be like the Japanese and sell your used panties like an adult does, but don't do the foot shit.
That's right. You can sell pretty much anything. I've seen people sell their spit. I've seen people sell their farts.
Yeah. I mean, I could jar a few up and sell those puppies anytime you want to. I just had some Indian tonight. It's gonna get ripe in here fast.
I knew a fart jar girl. She was on
yeah, she was in national news. She made the news like a few months ago.
She was on that same show that Big Ed was on with the 90 Day Fiance. She was on there. She's my like internet friend for years and years and years. And I was just like, she even did a thing where she was like, I had to stop doing them because it was like messing up her health, doing all those farts. I mean, taking all the things that she needed to put those farts in a jar. I don't get it, dude. Like, to each their own. But I couldn't imagine. First of all, this is just me, no judgment. I don't think I feel very good about myself if I sat here with 12 mason jars or whatever. I'm like, okay, it's time to make some money. Like, I don't know. That's just a little too personal and weird. Like, I think it would depress me. Again, that's just me, no judgment. And then to think of some dude opening it up, like,
yeah, listen, you can come to my house and then you can, I can fart in the couch and they can jump on the couch while you sit on the couch and the smell come back for a low price of $25. But otherwise, yeah, that's, listen, I could sell that. I won't sell other things, but I don't know. I have to do a little risk assessment. See if I'll sell my picture of my feet. I don't care about that. You want to jerk off or dill to my feet? Go right ahead, but not my. You'll never find a credit card receipt saying pay to the order of foot fetish 69 at Gmail or whatever. No, or fart jar girl for that matter.
There you go. As always, I will reiterate. I'll do any of that. Slide my DMs. I'll fart in a jar. I don't care. I'll spit. I'll fill up a whole fucking mason jar full of spit just for you. Just pay me money. I don't care.
What's that jar going to smell like besides weed, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and gray whiskers?
That's right. $49.99 minimum.
And shipping and handling. Don't forget that. Don't ever operate at a loss.
I'm not. I'm not taking that hit. Oh, Kevin,
Yes,
thank you
sir.
for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I always love hanging out with you two. You know that. Ask anytime, and I'll be there for you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, and thanks very much for being guests on the podcast. Everyone loves you both, and hangs out. If they didn't love you, you wouldn't be asked back. So that's how you know you're appreciated.
There you go.
But yeah, so I'll do a 30-second shout out. Come over to Gutting the Sacred Cow. We're on all your podcast platforms of choice: iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google, Spreaker, Stitcher, whatever, any podcast platform, and of course on YouTube. And when you do get hooked on this podcast, I promise you, leave us that 5-star rating, 2 or 3 sentence review. If you want to advertise with us or just drop a line to say, hello, I'd like to buy a mason jar of your farts, guttingthesacredcow at gmail.com is where you can find that too. KevinGoatee.com for the dates. But yeah, Gutting the Sacred Cow, give us a listen, subscribe wherever you are, and tell a friend. I guarantee if I have to pick, people go, what are your 5 favorite episodes? Shelly, Dumb and Dumber, always makes that list of the people for different reasons, of course, but give her a listen. If anything, give her a listen, then give Stoner Jesus episodes. He did, as he said, Taxi Driver and Wizard of Oz. Shelly did also Tommy Boy. You're gonna love them. I guarantee. It's an hour a week, and it's funny. If it's not funny, then tell me I'm wrong and why, and then buy a mason jar of my farts to make me feel better.
There you go. Kevin, thank you. Shelly, thank you as well for another awesome week. And Shelly, I will see you next week.
All righty. See you guys later. Bye.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye.